Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Think Like a Thought Leader show, where Black entrepreneurs and leaders like you come to learn how to use their impact and influence to build generational wealth. And a lot of folks right now are probably really tired, really just pushing on through. We made it through another week, so congratulations. At the same time, a lot of folks are saying that if you don't emerge from this pandemic without a new body, a new business, a new book, or a new bae, that you're somehow doing it wrong. And while we should all strive to become the best versions of ourselves, toxic positivity ain't the way to do it. And so today, I'm talking to two wellness experts about what toxic positivity is, the practical ways that we can fight for our wellness, and how we can truly thrive right now. So today I'm here with Tangia Al-Awaji Estrada, who is a woman's empowerment coach and transformation coach. I'm here with Therese Prentice, who is also a friend to the show. She's been here before as a special guest thought leader, who is a holistic herbalist, artisan, and the founder of Eclectic Soul Collective. Welcome to the show, Tangia, and welcome back, Therese. How are you, ladies?
Doing well.
Wonderful. Well. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm super excited about this conversation. And I know we have been sort of talking around this topic. I've been talking about this topic with my friends, and we have a lot to cover. So before we dive in, I want to just remind people who are watching right now, go ahead and share this with a friend, tag somebody who needs to hear this conversation about toxic positivity and the fight for true wellness. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and share it with my community as well. So just give me a few seconds. Let me share this to my page. Okay, so and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to drop them in the comments. We love questions. So ladies, for those of you, for those people who are unfamiliar with the work that you do, could you each share what your larger mission is for your work? We'll start with Tangia.
Sure. So I'm a certified health coach and women's empowerment coach. And so I work with women in helping them feel powerful in their bodies, build healthy, sustainable habits, and design their gorgeous life, whatever that looks like to them. We do a lot of self-awareness, self-empowerment, confidence building work. I see women who feel overwhelmed in their lives and feel stuck where they are. They feel like, they're high achievers. They checked all the boxes that they were supposed to check. And they seem to have the idea if they could just lose a little bit of weight, everything would be okay in their lives. And I'm here to help guide them through understanding that it's really not about the weight. It was never about the weight. And there's some work we need to do in helping you understand your body, learning to love your body, and also building a life that you feel happy, grounded, and whole in. So that's what I do. I think we lost your sound, Courtney. We can't hear you.
That's because I was muted.
Oh, there you go.
Thanks for Therese, can you share what your greater mission is around the work that you do?
I'll keep it really simple. Wellness is simple, people complicated, and I teach women how to live a life that feels so good they don't need a vacation from it. And it all starts with their wellness.
Agreed.
I love that. I love that. So let's get into the topic of toxic positivity. Some people watching may not necessarily know what it means, and they may not have heard the term before, Tangia. So just what is toxic positivity?
Sure. It's the idea or concept that you have to be positive at all costs, that in every bad situation, if you just muscle through it and mind over matter it, that it's all going to work out in the end. And really the problem with what has you feeling low or down or stuck or anything is just all about you're thinking the wrong thoughts. And if you think happier, more positive thoughts, everything is fine. I am of the opinion that that absolutely is not true. And sometimes things are just bad and you have to do something about it. You're not going to think your way out of it just by denying your emotions, denying how you feel, pretending the experience you're having is not the experience that you're having. There's actual work to be done to get to a different place where you can, first of all, be okay and then start to thrive.
Yes. And so why are so many influencers, celebrities, and so-called gurus obsessed with this whole good vibes only rhetoric, Tangia? Like, what's up with that? I'm pretty sure for those watching and listening right now, they've probably seen some memes on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn with people talking about how they just really need to be using this time and how they can be so super productive. Why are we so attracted to that rhetoric? And what makes people even say stuff like that?
Well, I think it's just this thing that we do as humans where we want things to be very black and white. We want to be able to check a box or put things in a box because it's just easier to process. And if you're feeling low, you're feeling like your life is out of control, you don't understand this new world that we're in and you don't know what to do about it and everything is falling apart at the seams, it sounds easy to be like, oh, all I need to do is think happy thoughts and like do more things that are like happy or motivating or positive, and it's all going to work out in the end. And maybe it will work out in the end, but it's going to maybe be a really hard road getting there while you start to figure out how you really feel and then do something about that.
Yeah.
And I think these influencers and gurus or whatever, I think they're in the same boat as the rest of us. And I think that they're grasping for answers and they're trying to be the person that has the answer. So they're saying, write the next American novel, start that side hustle, completely denying that this is unprecedented. Like no one in generations has had to deal with this situation, denying the fact that nobody knows what's next, that they don't know what's next, and that's okay too. And, just kind of not wanting to deal with the realness of the situation. It's really hard to be honest about how things are impacting you. And it makes you feel very uncomfortable and vulnerable. So it's easier to just tell people to work harder. It's what we do in this culture. Just work harder.
Yeah. And that's toxic in itself. And so one thing that I've really observed is that toxic positivity tends to result in or lead to toxic productivity. And so, Therese, I know that you said earlier that your entire mission is to help people create a life that they don't need a vacation from. So I know that you've done your own work around really releasing and shedding a lot of those beliefs and a lot of those approaches to productivity. So can you talk a little bit about how you help people specifically really release and give themselves permission to live that life that they don't need a vacation from?
Well, first and foremost, it starts with wellness. When we put high energy into our body, we then take on, as I always say, the DNA of the plants that we ingest. So that's one way, right? Because when we feel better, and it starts with our feelings. And so we can begin to feel better. Most people do not know what they want. So it begins with what do you want and how do you want to feel within your life? Like I love to wake up when I'm done sleeping. And so I have created my life around waking up when I'm done sleeping. And so what is it that you really want to feel and experience in your day-to-day life? Do you want to, one of the questions that most entrepreneurs have never answered, how do I want to create my new version of myself when I leave my job? Because they have been so ingrained that everything starts from 9 to and begins at 9 and ends at 5. But life can be whatever you want it to be. And sometimes we need to give people permission. And that's what I do, to create a brand new life. Like, if you could do anything in the world, what would you like to do? I mean, that's a powerful question. And that's where we start with my clients. That's where we start. And we begin to build a new foundation based of 9 to 9 feel. It includes all of that. So when you approach it from those 9 dimensions, it's like having a wheel. If one spoke is missing, one side of the wheel is flat, you can never roll smoothly through life. But only when you begin to live in harmony, not balance, because balance doesn't really exist. Balance means that all things are equal, and all things are not equal. There's ebbs and flows in life. And so we work with the ebbs and flows and understand. People have to understand that there are ebbs and flows, because we use that word balance so loosely, but balance has a connotation that things are equal to each other, when they are in fact not equal to each other. They are you have to kind of learn and unlearn your conditioning to live in harmony with one experience in your life over another experience in your life. And when you really get that, then you can start to feel your way into what do you want to experience. And how that starts is, what don't you like? What don't you like about your life? Feel it. Feel that experience. And when you can step right into that space of what you don't like, easily we can create a contrast of what you do like, and start painting and reformulating and unlearning the conditioning, and then rebuilding what it is that you really want to experience in your life. And it can be done. That's when you can live your life, and you don't need a vacation from it, because it just ebbs and flows in harmony.
So when we talk about wellness, right? That has become a buzzword in the last, I would say, few years, right, ladies? And I think that some people falsely believe that wellness is for white people. And you know, it's really the way that it has been portrayed to us. It's been wrapped in a lot of privilege, a lot of assumptions. You know, I know that there are some, celebrities and influencers who, again, are not only just saying, hey, get up and write your book, hey, start your business, improve your business, etc. But I think rarely do we hear from people who are honest enough to say, I know that not everyone is in the position, right, to be able to freely do some of the things that they want to do. If we're talking about, single parents, even, partnered people who have children and are trying to manage distance learning. We're talking about essential workers who are trying to manage an aggressive schedule, along with the, attempting to keep themselves alive every time they walk out of the safety of their homes. We're talking about, I think that we neglect often to talk to people who might be on the verge of eviction, or whose businesses, the bottom fell out of it, right? Who might have lost their jobs. So what do we say to those people who really do want to engage in wellness? Because I believe that everybody wants to be well, right? But what do we say to those people who don't always get a chance to really sit down and hear those messages, who may not have the time, who may not have the bandwidth, or even the knowledge to be able to incorporate wellness principles into their life? And we're going to talk about some practical things a little bit later. But how can we talk to the people who aren't always addressed when we hear those, we see people on Instagram Live or Facebook Live, with their curated timelines and, their cute coffee mugs and, like the cute backgrounds? What do we say to the people who are like, you know what, life is real right now, so how can I be well?
Yeah. So I yes to all of that, right? And so I come to this conversation being acutely aware that I am in this industry and doing this work and having this conversation from a place of privilege. I was barely impacted by the pandemic in relation to my business. It didn't really impact me because I have clients who didn't lose their jobs, so they're okay. The only thing that really changed for them is they're working from home now as opposed to going to an office. And I think it's valid to say that wellness in general is a privileged conversation, and it's a privileged space to be in, because when we're talking about wellness, we're, even if you take away all of the superficial stuff, the buying the yoga mats and the $120 pair of leggings and all of that stuff, you take all of that stuff away. Wellness is really about securing yourself, doing what you need to do to be okay, and eventually getting to a place where you do what you need to do to thrive. But before you can get there to thrive, you have to get out of survival mode. And when you're in survival mode, when you have not secured yourself yet, doing the higher level thinking of, this is who I am, and this is who I want to be, and these are my passions, and this is what I want to explore in the world, you can't do that yet. You can't, because you're just in survival mode. And this pandemic has put so many people in survival mode basically overnight. So people are grasping for straws. And I know that your audience, Courtney, is a lot of entrepreneurs. And, they found themselves in a place where they maybe had a growing business, they were profitable, things were going really well, and then all of a sudden the bottom fell out. So how do you tell that person, well, we really need to think about exercise, or we really need to think about how you're sleeping. And they're like, I'm not sleeping because I don't know if I'm going to have a business tomorrow, right? And really the basic conversation around wellness is, how are you securing yourself? And that's the first thing that you have to do when you find yourself in these situations, is you have to figure out what is the first step that you need to do just to be okay right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, just today. What do you need to not fall off the cliff today? And that's really the basic level of conversation we need to be having with people so that they can start to move forward. It's going to take baby steps for most people to really move forward past this. And not talk to them. If you're coming at people with write the next great American novel and start a new, and whatever, I mean, I'm okay. My business is fine. I still feel like punching people when I hear that, because I'm like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And even though my business is okay, I'm still struggling. There's a lot happening right now. There's still a lot of fear. There's still a lot of uncertainty. Just because I'm doing okay doesn't mean that my neighbor is, or my brother, or my cousin. And all of that is stuff that we're all trying to take on. It's not just about us as an individual. So I think that in that wellness conversation, it's true. We're having to fight for it right now, because for the first time, we're actually having to define what it is in a really meaningful way. And we've realized that it isn't pedicures and manicures and whatever, like hanging crystals from your bed or something. I don't know. That could be part of it for some people. But there's a superficial level that we've been really focused on, especially in the world of social media. And none of that has any meaning anymore. So when that doesn't have any meaning anymore, then what is wellness for you? Well, the first thing is securing yourself. What do you need right now just to be okay? And that's where we have to start.
Yeah. Now, Therese, as an herbalist, who you've been on the show before, and you gave us some amazing knowledge. I'm curious about the things that we can start doing as far as how we can start eating, and the things that we can start incorporating into some of our diets that will help us achieve or get closer to that physical wellness, right? Because what we're talking about here is not just physical wellness, but also mental and emotional wellness, arguably spiritual wellness. All of it is tied together. And so, Therese, as an herbalist, what do you suggest that people start doing? People who have no idea about, supplements, herbs, how should they begin to even think about building up their immune systems and feeling better from the inside out physically?
Okay, great. Well, I'm going to keep it simple, because people don't need a whole lot of other things to do. I find oftentimes we are taught what not to do, but no one tells us what to do. So the first thing is take a deep breath and really kind of do what you want to do. Just don't have any demands on your life. I mean, the first part of the pandemic, I slept. I didn't do anything because I didn't know what to do. And that's okay. And that's okay too, because most people are really tired. They're just really tired.
Yes.
And so
yes,
it's okay to just sit and be still. Stillness can propel you forward. So that's one. Get a glass of water. Just start drinking some water. Water will create movement in the body, movement of toxins, just movement, refreshing. It's something that most people don't do. And 9 times out of 10, it can do wonders for your body, especially if you haven't been someone that drinks water. And you can add things to your water, add lemon to your water, add lime to your water. Simple things like that can make the difference in having a headache or not having a headache. Another thing that you can do is, most stores have chamomile on some level. It's not expensive. You can find, maybe an adaptogen if you have something like that around you. Ashwagandha is excellent for this time because it's an adaptogen. It's going to be soothing and sedative for the body. It's going to calm you down. It's designed for stress. I would also say lavender. If you have any lavender or lavender essential oils, you can put them on the bottom of your feet. You can put them in a diffuser. You can take a couple of drops, depending on the quality of it, under your tongue or in your water. But I really do believe that it's a time for stillness. Just be still. We believe that we have to kind of tap into, keep moving. And that's what we've been conditioned to believe. And I believe that we just need to sit down, stop moving. And
I would just say, I agree 100%. And this pandemic has been like a global, everybody got sent to their room. Like, maybe sit down. Think about that. We all got grounded at the
punishment.
same time. Exactly.
Yeah.
I just, sorry for interrupting, Therese.
No, that's
I want
okay.
to say, there's some kind of universal message happening here that we're ignoring.
Yeah, I believe that we've been ignoring it for a while. It's just that when you don't listen, there has to be a louder and larger message. So everybody, just put on punishment. And so what are you going to listen to the messages that are given to you? But there again, people don't understand. We got to take it down real simple. People don't understand about messaging. What is that? What does that mean? What's messaging? Well, we have to then say to them, listen, have you been sleeping? No. Have you been moving all the time? No. Has your life been like crazy? Yes. Okay, so look at this time as this. Did you get an opportunity? You have to go in their lives and point out the opportunities for stillness. Did you get an opportunity to really spend time with your children? Oh, wow. Yeah, I did. Okay. Did you really get an opportunity to look at your mate and see if you even want to stay with him, be with him, look at him or her? That's what this time was for. Did you get it? You couldn't go out to eat. You had to make things in your home, right? So this was a time for you to begin to eat and look at what's in your cabinets, right? Okay. That's what this time was for, and also it was a time to look at your finances too, because if you didn't have any money, didn't have any food in your house, this is a time to say, okay, this was not good. I had to go to the food bank. I had to, borrow money to do this. This is the time to look at those things and say, okay, I'm going to do better in this area, and this area. It's a time of reflection. It's a time of taking notice. And so that is the wellness part of this. Before we can get to what we're going to do while we're here, we have to bring the awareness of where we are and understand supplies were from China. That was like a reality check. Whole business gone all in one day. So, but the thing about it is I had more than one business. So these are the things, these times shine light on like the the gaps in our lives. And so when we can shine light on the gaps, then we can, propel forward. But if we do not take inventory of where we are, how does our body feel? Okay, were you part of the high risk group? You were. Okay, you had to stay home, right? So what did you do about being in the high risk group while you were staying home? And that's why you had to stay home, because you were in the high risk group. So these are all the things that people can contemplate. But I do believe that you cannot be in this time in isolation. Right? You can't be in this time in isolation, because isolation does not propel you forward later. Isolation only perpetuates more of what you already have, because you don't have any new ideas. You only have your existing ideas. And in order to move forward and move out of where you are, you need new ideas. You need new energy to be infused into your life. And you can only get that from other people. And so I believe this is a time of community, whether it's Zoom, whether it teaches us that we're not an island. We have to commune with other people, and we have to be real with ourselves. And that's why a lot of these celebrities, they too are projecting out all this stuff, because they too don't want to sit with themselves and be still.
That's exactly it. They
Right?
don't want to sit.
They don't want to sit and be
Yes.
with themselves. And guess what? Everywhere you go, there you are. And if you don't deal with
That's
yourself, everywhere you are, there you are. And you're going to keep digging up the same old crap next week, the week after. It has nothing to do with the pandemic. The pandemic is just the light that's shining on all of the issues that are out here. And if you didn't do your work, you're going to be called on the carpet to do your work. Everybody has to do their work. Everyone has to do it. There's no free passes. There's no, oh, can I get to the front of the line? You know why? The people that got to the front of the line are the ones that are suffering the most right now, because they didn't do any work. Right? So now you have to do the work. Simple things. Sit down and have a cup of tea. Sit down and have a glass of water. You don't have to do anything else. Just sit and be still. You pray to God for all these blessings and all this stuff. He can't catch up with you. He said, girl, I can't keep running after you. You go ahead on. You go ahead on. And when you sit down and be still, I'll give you all the messages that you want. But I'm not going to chase you all over America trying to give you a message. No.
Now, somebody send Therese a love offering, because that was a whole sermon. Okay. What I want to also talk about that I find really interesting, and not in a good way, is I wonder, Therese, you kind of hinted at this a little bit earlier when you said we're always being told what not to do, and we're not, being told what to do in a positive way. And so with that, I find it really interesting and curious that we're in the midst of a public health crisis. Okay.
Yeah.
And we virtually have no leadership around how to stay well. I'm wondering why aren't we being told about how to build our immune systems, right? We've heard that ad nauseum from CNN, MSNBC, all these sources. Build your immune system, And there's segments and there's things that here and there, but there is no really collective, I would say, response or message coming from our government, which I don't necessarily expect our government to ensure our wellness, but I find it really interesting that so many people are waiting on a vaccine for this virus, and we're not necessarily being equipped with the information widely enough to know how to truly secure our wellness, both mentally and emotionally, and also physically. So, Therese, why do you think there has not been a unified message around how to truly stay well?
Whoa.
I think you're breaking up a little bit.
Did we lose
Okay.
her?
Yes, no, I'm here. Hold on one second. Okay. Okay. We should be good now. Can you see me?
Yep, I can see you.
Okay. We're good.
Yep,
I
we're
think
good.
so.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. So that's a very loaded question.
Yep, it is.
Yeah, it
And
is.
I will say it, well, okay. And the biggest reason is it's not financially advantageous for us to build our immune system. So that's the easy part. And most people don't know anything about the immune system. You have to remember that the doctors, they know very little about nutrition. They have one semester, if that, of nutrition in medical school. They come out and they're taught a lot about medication. So that's clearly what the direction and the focus and the foundation for them. When it comes to our immune system, if you don't understand nutrition and you don't understand that your digestive system is the center and the hub of your immune system, and it's the second brain that we have, then how could we potentially even teach you anything about it? And they poo-poo on people like myself because what do we know? We're quacks and whatever else they can figure out to call us. But at the end of the day, we have to remember, if your digestive system is compromised, so is everything else about you.
Yeah.
So if you do not eat and go to the bathroom and you have constipation, your immune system is going to be compromised. If you have stress, and do we have stress right now? Your immune system is going to be compromised. If you have high blood pressure, diabetes, and all the rest, you just keep creating levels and levels of compromise. So, and then on top of it all, if you do not put minerals, a high rich mineral diet, and greens, green and blue equals oxygen. So if you do not eat greens and blues, meaning food that is the color green and the color blue, then where does that leave you? Right? There's no oxygen going into your body. And then what are you going to use to fight? Remember, we talked about the army. So now if the army is over on the other side of town, like cross country, focusing on the inflammation that's in your body, the colitis, the constipation, the diabetes, the high blood pressure, and they're all the way in California. But the pandemic broke out. The epic center of the pandemic is in New York. And we have no planes going, no planes available, right? How we going to fight that fight? How we going to fight a epidemic or pandemic in New York when all the soldiers already exhausted from the last 25 years of all the things that you had going on in your body that compromised your gut? How are they going to do it? So we have to build our bodies way before we need the army. We have to be recruiting. Recruiting means that we have to be filling our bodies with the nutrients, high minerals, not vitamins, but minerals. Minerals.
Can you go into a little bit of that? Because I have an example of, and this is why I love doing the show, and this is why I love talking to experts like you both, because I was trying to explain to my husband how important it was for us to start ingesting more minerals, right?
Yes.
And so, we're taking right now D3, vitamin D3 with K2. And so and I mistakenly assumed that, he knew the difference between a supplement and a prescription. He saw them both as a pill. And I think a lot of people see it like that. And he was like, okay, well, what are the side effects and da, da, da. And so can you kind of, talk to us about the difference between the vitamins and the minerals.
Okay, so when we take supplements, I'm going to start with simple, right? So I'm going to go back to simplicity. So the vitamins we're going to get from our food, but more importantly, we need the minerals. We need the magnesium. The soil is really kind of depleted
of magnesium. Yeah,
right. So
I supplement it.
Yeah, you need magnesium, right? So where can we get magnesium from? We can get magnesium from sea vegetables, right? So we can get it from the kelp. We can get it from Irish moss. That's why you hear so much about Irish moss. We want it in, right? Well, yeah, it's the same thing. right? Sea moss,
Okay.
Irish moss, same thing. Bladderwrack is another one. Because why do we talk so much about these? Because a lot of them have like 92 minerals in them. We have 108 in our body. So this is why we glean and lean towards those. Something really simple that people can get pretty inexpensive is nettles. Nettles, dandelion, and dandelion is one of those things that grows everywhere. And the reason why it grows everywhere is because we need it. It grows in people's yards. It grows in their backyard. It's at the store. It's everywhere. Get some dandelion. Dandelion is going to serve everyone very well. Mineral rich. It has all iron. It has all the things that we need. And here's a key. If you look around your
I think we're losing you again, Therese. You're getting ready to say something really good too.
community, okay, I'm back.
I think you're still breaking up. Okay, now you're frozen. We're gonna wait for Therese to get back in because she was dropping some real knowledge, you guys.
So I can answer
about dandelion and things.
I can answer a little bit, not at the level of detail as Therese. I'm not an herbalist. I have plenty of certification in nutrition. But I'll just say, so your vitamins and minerals are triggers in your body for certain building activities to happen. So they are the tools essentially of your immune system in order to do what it needs to do. And so what your body does is if you are deficient in something, it will try to compensate. So it'll take it from somewhere else and put it to that other thing to try to prevent disease, injury, whatever. So understand that your brain's number one concern before anything else is survival. And it's not something that you have to think about. It's more than your flight or fight response. It is your brain constantly working in a way that is 100% about your survival. So if you are, say, deficient in magnesium, well, magnesium is something that supports your immune system. It's great for recovery in your body. So if you're stressed, you need that magnesium to be able to, thrive physically. It helps with great sleep. But if you're deficient in it, your body is like, well, I'll just compensate in another way. And it tries to, because its number one concern is it's not how you look. It's not, are you happy? It's like, can you still breathe tomorrow? Can you still breathe for one moment?
That's good. Right? That's a good point.
Right?
Yeah.
So everything your brain is doing is about survival first. And so if you're not constantly filling it with the tools, the basic tools and building blocks that it needs in order to thrive, to fill all of the processes that it needs to do, it's going to start to shut certain things off because it's not going to be essential to your survival. So it'll just sort of ignore it. And then your joints start to break down and you can't figure out why your joints hurt all the time. Well, I mean, you're probably missing calcium. You're probably missing collagen. These are things that you're not getting in your diet because in Western culture, we live on a fast food, convenience-based diet, right? And those things are nutritionally deficient. You're not going to get the vitamins and minerals if you're getting all your food through a drive-through. You're just not. You have to eat whole, fresh, healthy foods in order to get those things. And those you have to shop for them, you have to store them, and you have to cook them before they spoil. It's a lot more steps, right? And it costs more money. It takes more time. You actually have to think about it. So at its very basic, again, I can't go into the level of detail that Therese can, as I'm not an herbalist. But, my certification is in whole healthy food and sports nutrition. But the basic understanding is there, and it's about your body's number one concern is survival. So if you like, the one I like to think about beyond vitamins and minerals is water. Every system in your body runs on water. Every single one of them.
Yeah.
And if you were dehydrated and you're not drinking water every day, a certain amount of water, the very basic that your body needs, then your brain will start to figure out how to make your body work in the way that it's supposed to work on as little water as possible. So you might be getting migraine headaches all the time. Like your skin might look dull and flaky. Your lips might be chapped. Your hair starts to break off. Your nails are thin, all because you're just not drinking enough water. Therese is back, so she can continue that conversation in a better way with more detail than I can. But at its basic, that's what it is.
And I think what and we could talk about this all day, right? Like I'm just really starting to nerd out about this in my own personal life. So, this is fascinating, and I hope that this is helpful to the people who are watching and who are listening. The main idea that I really wanted to raise here is that wellness is attainable. Because I think that, again, so often we believe that wellness is for wealthy people or white people or people who have a whole bunch of time on their hands, single people, childless people. But wellness is for everybody, right? Wellness is imperative for everybody. And we're starting to understand just how important that is. And unfortunately, with all of the states putting back up, I think prematurely, well, the science says it's pointing to it being premature. These conversations are going to be needed, because when people start going back to work, they start going back out, to eat at restaurants and back out to congregate with one another, we have to understand how to listen to our bodies. And what I really value about you two women experts is that you are talking about how we can start to truly be still, be present, and listen to what our bodies are telling us.
Yeah, it's a process. I'll just say that it's tough. And that's why toxic positivity is so insidious, especially right now, because it's a way of gaslighting yourself and gaslighting your community and pretending that the experience you're having, which is challenging on the best of days and downright brutal on the harder days, it's like telling yourself it isn't happening. And if you want to be able to thrive, you want to be able to move forward through these hard things, then as my favorite mindset and mentor guru would say, Miss Iyanla Vanzant, you got to tell the truth.
Yeah,
that's
Call
it.
A thing a thing.
Yes.
Call a thing a thing. And if you are depressed, if you are angry, if you are frustrated, I don't really know how you are in that moment and also at the same time, like, doing your best work. You're not. You're just not. You have to deal with where you are, and you have to be honest about where you are. This is one of the things, to Therese's earlier point, like, this is really hard because in our culture, in a culture that's about where your value is based on how much money you can produce or how much productivity you can prove, then that goes away, and all of a sudden you have to sit with yourself, and you've never had to do that before. You're a hurting unit right now if you've never had to deal with yourself. And even people who have been like in this journey of learning about themselves and introspection and trying to get to their higher being or whatever that looks like for you, it's still hard. I've done a ton of work around trying to be a better person. And I found myself in this situation being like, oh, I thought I dealt with that. Oh, I didn't. Here it is. Here it is. The thing that I've been denying, right? But it's right here in our faces. And the truth is introspective work is hard. When you are trying to know who you are and figure out what does the future look like for me, then you have to be honest about where you are right now before you're going to get to the next place. And so if you're struggling, admit that you're struggling. Like, that's the first thing that you do is like, yeah, this is hard. And it's uncomfortable because you have to admit vulnerability. You have to admit that maybe you don't know the way forward. You have to admit that you're not invincible. You have to admit that you've made some mistakes along the way. We all have. And it's hard to do that work. And it's easier to go to Instagram and be like, well, this influencer
Stretch
today
yourself.
Yes.
told me
Yeah.
I need better stretch goals. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a stretch goal. And then you're great on that. You're working on your stretch goal for about 5 minutes. And then after that 5 minutes, you have finished an entire bottle of wine and you're like, well, I don't know why that happened. Right? That's what's happening. That's the cycle that we're going through
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm not gonna lie. When this stuff first hit, I was in the phase of eating my feelings, you know, and I think a lot of people can relate, you know, when you're sitting at home, you got the snacks and you just unconsciously sort of consume them. So Therese, what can we do to fuel our bodies in a way that helps us again feel so good? You talked about water, you talked about incorporating minerals and magnesium and dandelion. Now, can we just go out in our backyards and just pick dandelion and boil it up and create a tea? How does that work?
Oh yeah, you sure can. I was getting ready to tell you that all of the plants that grow in a community are the plants that are there and for the community, and the community needs those plants. So I'm new to Tampa. I live in Tampa. I've been riding around for the last couple of weeks, and I've been seeing elderberry all over. Like massive amounts of elderberry. Like I had never even seen it up close and personal.
I saw you take a picture of it.
That's right.
And post it. Yeah.
That's down the block from my house. I live on old farmland and there were plenty of farms around here. And there's massive amounts of elderberry, feverfew, dandelion. Like there's so many different plants. So that's one. Yes. If you do see it growing, you just want to make sure that there hasn't been a lot of fertilizer and toxins that have been, embedded into the soil. But I would bring it home. I would wash it. The root is great. Let it dry, and you can boil that. You can chop it up and you can boil it. Yes, you can chop up the leaves and make a salad, add it to your salad, because now instead of having a dead salad, which is iceberg lettuce, that has no nutritional value. But if you can add, some dandelions to, let's say, some spring greens, now you kind of enhance that salad. But here's the other thing for women. Women need juicy fruits. Why? Because juicy fruits gets that lymphatic system flowing. So grapes, take advantage of now it is moving into summer. Eat seasonal foods. Do not let me see you eating watermelon in the middle of October and November and December.
It doesn't even taste good.
Therese, I love watermelon.
I understand that, but you just need to get your fill. Is coming up now. Now, the only thing that's an off-season item that I learned about in the last couple of years is strawberries being grown in Florida. Right? The strawberry season starts in January for a particular type of very sweet strawberry that does not look very.
Oh no, we lost her. Yeah.
We lost Therese again. Okay. Wait, your audio is okay. Here we go.
Okay, we're back. Okay, so strawberries in strawberry season. They grow on the vine. You pick them off the vine. You eat them. I would also say grapes are excellent for people that are women. Women need movement. So when the juice runs down your arm, think of it that way. Yeah. Those are the things you need to eat. So oranges, lemons, limes, juicy fruits. Eat as much of it as possible. You're going to get your potassium, your vitamin C. You can make smoothies out of it. So here's a quick thing that you can do with watermelon. Drop it in whatever mixer you have. It doesn't matter. If you got to get out the mixing bowl kind of mixer, just put it in there. We use what we have. And then you can just squeeze a little bit of lemon in there if you need sweet, because I know some people have killed their taste buds with salt and sugar. So if you need sweet, get some agave or get some honey. I prefer the honey because of the medicinal values that you're getting at, and drink away, right? Another thing you can do, take some cucumber. You want to be cool in the during this time, because it's getting hot now in a lot of places. It's 95 here today. So get some cucumber, take off the skin, drop it in there like you would cut it up and drop it in a mixer, just like you would a blender, just like you would, let's say, orange. Now you can add a little bit of same thing, honey, agave with it, squeeze some lemon in there. Now you got a cucumber lemonade. You got to get creative to get your fruits and vegetables in, drink it or eat it. Either way, you can go to the store, buy 3 cucumbers, use a cucumber for your salad, use a cucumber for a drink. Now you've hydrated your body. Now you've cooled your body. And now you've also gotten some nutrients in your body. You know, you can take that same cucumber and you could add some dandelion to it, right? But some people may not be able to take the dandelion taste. Why do you want the dandelion? The dandelion is going to be good for your liver. Right? It's going to be good for your liver and your gallbladder at the same time. When we focus on wellness, we don't just focus on, as an herbalist, we don't focus on just that particular area of the body, but we focus and bring in, when we make blends, we bring in the systems of the body. So there's going to be something in there for the circulatory system, because if we focus on the liver or the kidneys, what do we got to move those toxins out? So we have to give it some type of army reinforcement to move the circulatory system. If we're working on the lymphatic system, we definitely have to use the circulatory system, because remember, the lymphatic system is the only system in the body that doesn't move on its own. So simple things like moving your arms, moving your legs, right? Going outside, walking, moves your lymphatic system. So it moves that sludge out of the system, out of the body. You don't want stagnation. Stagnation is in the forms of lumps, bumps, death. Yes, death is the ultimate, but it shows up first as signs and lumps and bumps and fibroids and all of those types of things, right? So that means your lymphatic system isn't moving. Go outside and walk to the corner and come back. You don't even have to eat. Go walk to the corner and walk back. Do that every day. You took 10 steps today, take 15 tomorrow. Wellness is simple. Everybody wants to go to the gym. You do not need a gym membership. As a matter of fact, I would tell you to cancel your gym membership if you've been sitting on the couch. You can't go from the couch to the gym. You want to go from the couch to the kitchen. That's the kitchen. Wellness is built in the kitchen and in the bedroom. Why? You eat the right foods and you sleep at night. Eat the right foods and sleep at night. I didn't say the gym. Eat the right foods and sleep at night, and go outside and walk and get some good energy into your lungs, right? Some good air into your lungs. Get some good food into your body. Add a salad to every meal. If you just simply add a salad to every meal, you can walk and do 10 to 15 to 20. Take steps, walk. Add a little bit more. Keep walking. Move your arms up and down when you're walking. Lymphatic system underneath your armpits are going to move and drain the lymphatic system. That's all you got to do. I didn't say anything about spending money. Everybody has $1 to go and buy 3 cucumbers and a lemon, or 2 cucumbers and a lemon. It's simple.
And I really appreciate you breaking it down so simply, right? Like, I think you've given us maybe 4, 5, 6 different recipes, different things that we could do to put it inside of our bodies. Tangia, you've given us ways to really start to understand how we can feel better, and not just on a superficial level, right? Because I think that instant gratification is what often drives our desire to get into wellness, or get into fitness, right? Oh, I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to drop this weight. I want to, whatever. I want to do squats so my butt sits up, right? Or what have you. But as we're discussing this, I hope people understand and see just how closely tied everything is, from what you eat to how you move to what you believe about yourself, and to what you think, and all of that good stuff. Because what we really didn't talk about, will probably have to be saved for another episode, is how our food makes us, like, impacts our moods, right? Like what we put in our food, And I think, Therese, you were getting at that around the minerals and the vitamins and things like that, because it does impact our mood. Like, some of us walking around here so mad, we might just need to drink a cup of tea. Right? You might not need a drink. You might just need tea. You might just need a few deep breath exercises. You might just need to journal. So I appreciate you ladies for stopping by the show and being so generous with your time and your knowledge. Can you tell everyone who's watching and listening how they can connect with you, how they can work with you if they're interested in doing so, and how they can learn more about the work that you do?
Who do you want to go first?
Oh, you can go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, it's fine.
Yeah. So a couple of ways. So first of all, you can find me hanging out online, probably the most on Instagram. So I'm at Tangia Renee, Tangia. Can't spell my own name right now. Renee, Tangia Renee. I'm at Tangia Renee in all of the places. My website is tangiarenee.com. I also have right now a complimentary downloadable of the Healthy at Home Success Kits. And so many people are experiencing overwhelm. It's like 5 simple strategies on how to secure yourself and be okay right now where you are, to start to create a little bit of stability in your life and eventually start to move forward. I posted that link for you, Courtney, in the chat. I don't know if I can post it in the
I'll put it up on here.
Okay.
And what is it called again, Tangia?
It's called the Healthy at Home Success Kit. So in there, you're going to have strategies and ideas for games for if you have children at home to help keep them engaged and keep things fun. Games that you don't like have to go buy new things for, stuff that you can use around the house. There's immune system building recipes in there, simple recipes. It'll take you, stuff that you can pull out of your pantry. You don't have to go find dandelions if you don't want to, although that is so valid. And I'm not gonna dig up the dandelions because I'm too lazy for that. But I drink a lot of dandelion tea. So.
And they can do that too. They can go to the store.
Just get the tea. Keep it easy. Get the tea. Every store has it. So there's a lot of different strategies around. There's some breathing exercises in there. Some of my favorite breathing exercises to bring the stress down. It's a kit that's really about here's what you can do right now to secure your wellness in place wherever you are, to get yourself in that place where you're not just in survival mode, where you can start to do the higher level thinking that you need to do to start to move forward and get past some of the hardest days that you're experiencing at the moment. So check that out.
I love that.
And yeah, find me wherever. I'm around.
Awesome. Therese, how can people connect with you, learn more about the work that you do, and work with you?
Well, first and foremost, I'm Therese Prentice on every platform on social media. And you can go to Eclectic Soul Academy, and there you'll find Wellness in the Kitchen. It's a mini recipe guide on recipes that you can use, simple items in the kitchen like garlic and cayenne pepper and things you have to make salad dressing, sweet fire salad dressing. But if you were here on the other show and you already grabbed that, you can go to Eclectic Soul Collective and you can book a consult. And we can talk about the story, your wellness story. And from that wellness story, we'll create a wellness plan, an action plan for you so that you can get on the other side of wellness. And always remember, wellness is simple, people complicated, and I'm here to support you on this simple wellness plan.
Yep. Agreed.
Thank you both for, again, taking the time to have such a rich discussion about wellness and how, unfortunately, right now, it is a fight for a lot of people. But I believe that the conversation that we had today will help demystify wellness, will help clarify what people can start doing, the simple things that they can start incorporating into their daily life, because wellness is a practice. Do it every single day. And so hopefully they were able to glean some great practices they can start incorporating into their lives. So if you enjoyed this conversation and it inspired you in some way, then I definitely want to know about it. Go ahead and drop down in the comments if you're watching this and tell us what your aha moment was. And if you're listening to the podcast version of this, I want you to take a screenshot of you listening on your device, post it to your Instagram stories, and tag me at the Courtney Bowden so I can share it with the world and share it with Tangia and Therese. And if this episode spoke to your soul, go ahead and hit that share button or tag someone who really needs to see this episode in the comments. And if you want to hear more conversations and content like this, I encourage you to go ahead and subscribe wherever you can find us. That is on YouTube, that is on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and leave us a review. And finally, email any questions that you have to thinklikeathoughtleader@gmail.com. And we may even use your question for a future podcast episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take care and stay well.